Just underneath Oak Hill sits the town of Minden. By now, most of us are probably familiar with this little town, but for all the wrong reasons. Minden is known to be highly contaminated with PCBs, a carcinogenic chemical. Another attempt to remove some of this contamination is taking shape, and WOAY has the update.
It was in the early 1980s that the town of Minden realized they had a problem with high levels of a toxic chemical known as a PCB. They're likely being carried by a tributary of the New River, Arbuckle Creek, from the former Schaefer Equipment site, which is now a Superfund site with known high levels of contamination. The town made headlines again recently as the West Virginia state budget for fiscal year 25 included a 10% required contribution towards the EPA's record of decision to provide $22 million to clean up the Schaefer Equipment site. It's an old but familiar song to longtime Minden residents.
You know, it's been 10 or 12 times. I've had people to come all the way down from the head of the EPA down to Minden, have meetings with all these people, and say they're going to do something. They don't do nothing. They promise nothing.
Perhaps this time it will be different. It took until 2019 to make the national priorities list, and since then even more testing took place, and when everyone agreed they had the data to proceed, public meetings and reviews took place. Finally, a ROD was agreed to, which is government speak for Record of Decision.
What we're going to be doing is it's going to be an extensive series of dig and haul and backfill. Digging it out, hauling it off, depending on the PCB concentrations within the soils, depends on where it's going to go. If it's anything over 50 milligrams per kilogram, it's going to have to go into a subtitle C landfill, and West Virginia doesn't have any currently that accepts that type of waste. So a large portion of the cost of this project is associated with that.
Some in the town wonder why the money isn't spent to get residents away from these carcinogenic chemicals, as their current homes aren't that appealing to buyers.
First thing on people's mind is PCBs. I'm not going to live in that town. There's no way. Only property around here gets sold is usually sold to Ace.
The money that they spent would have bought all these people out, where they could have had at a $70,000 to $100,000 home. Nothing elaborate.
There are very strict requirements for how somebody would qualify for a buyout. And none of those were met based on the what we were able to find in the data that we found here, as well as the proposed action that we're taking. So more clarification on that could probably be given to you by the EPA.
Time is certainly not on the side of the people living in Minden, and the notoriously slow pace of government is devastating.
I have had cancer 6 times. I am right now, they're testing me, and I'm going to Duke over possible colon cancer, and I have tumors in my pancreas, so I'm dealing with that at Duke also.
Will this next attempt to save Minden work?
So we have all the players in the right positions now to what I feel like is finally affect change in a manner that's going to be long-lasting and permanent.
Only time will tell.
Politicians, they come and go. Same story for the last 40 years.
This is Mike Teeney in Minden, Newswatch 4.